worry about it for today.
I
But
would yeah.
update that before you have, everybody has all their trainings this weekend, so update it before you come around to your training cycle.
We have an operation this Sunday too,
Sweet.
correct?
No,
I
this
don't.
is an off weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, because
recon.
of Labor Day fucked us over.
I thought they were giving us an operation this Sunday.
It's Recon's weekend.
They 1-1.
It's the second Sunday.
1-1 Charlie gave me orders to show up on Sunday. Maybe we're just doing training then. They said I was doing an operation. Oh well. It doesn't seem like training to me whenever I see a Russian shooting at me. Get some Taliban's involved somehow.
Okay, I do have this. So how do I go about updating TFAR?
Redo the repo from the 15th repo.
Oh, through the Arma 3 sync?
Yes.
Okay.
And Faulkner, I guess you hadn't had anything readjust, but I would suggest trying that first, and then if that doesn't rectify your issue, ensure that you don't have a duplicate folder for Task Force Radio.
Okay.
At the wrong version.
Okay.
And
question?
Yeah, Medina, you're just gonna have to update yours at some point.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Question, answer.
Would you
User joined your channel.
want us to be like on a radio or something, so that way we can hear clearer over the shots?
I'm on global once this begins.
Raj. It's the same 5 rounds inside the mag, right?
Yes.
Raj.
Go ahead and put these in before I forget.
Mr. Eagle, hi.
Hello?
Hey. I assume you just went through recruit with Sergeant Elkin today?
Yes, Corporal.
Okie dokie.
You looking to get called?
That's the server information for you.
Took me like a month to get qualified. Lucky son of a gun. Almost immediately out the recruit training.
For both of us?
Well, it's going to be problematic for both of you because you're not in the master spreadsheet yet.
No, that's fine. If it doesn't get recorded today for me, that's fine. I'll at least have...
It'll ricochet around Towers' head a little bit in S1, and then it'll process out his eyeballs, and they'll figure it out.
I just want to get a chance to be a DMR.
Why you miss every shot? It's not like it matters.
Yeah, truth. Game lags too much to be able to even hit anything.
DMR is not an easy course. It's fun though. It's rewarding to pass.
Yeah,
not
I'm trying
like this.
to.
This is stupid right now. I'm in the process of getting this updated to have some better characteristics to it, like actually having wind and things.
Right.
But that hasn't happened yet, so you guys are lucky.
I've been trying to get my squad fire team, my AR. He's the designated marksman in that, and he challenged me, and I'm like, dude, watch this, man. On Friday, I'm gonna get a perfect score on the test, and then I'm gonna go to the DMR course and be like, sure, and get a 20 out of 20.
Medina, Sorry,
Yes.
I missed your error messages. I guess you weren't running.
Yep, I already fixed that shit.
All right, and you were running vanilla Shack Tac.
Yep. Wait,
Awesome.
what? There's a modded Shack Tag?
Yes, we have our own Shack Tac.
As stupid as that sounds, I
So-
swear to God, I have it.
Okay,
Vanilla Shack Tag.
either run that one or just disable Shack Tac, and you'll be good.
I don't even know half of the mods that I'm running in this, man. I'm just here to enjoy the ride and shoot shit.
It's only like what, like 16 gigs, 20 gigs. You'll be
Welcome.
fine. Yes.
Check this
Most
out,
of
man.
it's cup.
Nice.
Cup
You
is a
see
bastard.
These, see these glutes, man? Look at 'em.
I see them. You're working them.
Oh yeah, dude, you gotta get the lean back into it. It works at the spine.
Yeah.
You gotta, it like kind of pushes out your hip too, so it like works on your pelvic thrust a bit too.
Now, how many rounds are we firing?
All of them.
Watch this. Now I'm gonna do a tactical sit down.
Well, the total score is 65, so
Come
you
spoon
can probably
with me.
make an educated guess.
You
about
know,
that.
I've never used that shooting stance.
Come spoon with me. Come here, come closer.
I can't even move, dude.
Just like turn then. Yeah, just come
There you
closer.
go. There you go. Oh shit.
Wrong one.
Oh shit.
There you go. Hold on. Just stay there. Stay there. I got it.
This is so fucked up. What the fuck, dude?
Wait, hold on. Maybe if I like do this. Hit. Oh, there it is.
Oh my god.
Spooning.
Dude, it looks like a. Oh shit.
This thing isn't unsafe, man. I could blow your ass away.
Hold on,
if
hold
I
on, hold
wanted
on.
to, but I love you.
Take your weapon to condition 4, please.
Aye, aye, sir.
Looks like.
It is now in condition 4, sir.
I ain't no sir, and you still got a magazine in your weapon.
Aye. Corporal.
There you go.
Look
Oh,
at
shit.
that, Corporal.
Thank you.
Look at me, learning.
Good man.
Proud of myself, Corporal. You know that?
I'm proud of you
Proud of you.
too, kiddo.
Thanks, Corporal. Appreciate you, Dad. Dude, this is the greatness of being a PFC. You don't look like an idiot whenever you talk dirty. Like you still look like it, but not as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're
I mean,
kind
if
of in
you're
that.
private-
See, the thing about a PFC is you're kind of in that stage where you can get away with anything because it's like you're expected to kind of be a little bit dumb, but you can be smart enough to actually know where you've actually fucked up and avoid it.
Yeah, man.
So
It's
you
wonderful.
tend to be pretty good at drawing the line. I was in reserves for a while, so I was a PFC for like 2 years.
Dude, man, I just got in reserves as soon as I got promoted to PFC, man, just so that way I could keep this rank forever and ever.
I went to do that, but unfortunately, I had already met my points and I accrued my time and grade while I was in reserve. So after about a month of not being on, I came on one day and I just hear server group revoked, server group assigned, and suddenly I was a lance corporal.
Wow.
Man, dude, I've been having like family issues. My mom, kind of has something going on in her stomach. She has like an ulcer or some shit, dude. And it
Oh, that's no good.
might be cancer. So I've been, doing stuff at the hospital, keep her all nice and comfy, yada yada yada. Anyhow, yeah, man.
That's no
So
fun.
that's why I went in reserves, and then like a week after going into reserves, I heard server group revoked, server group assigned. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know how I got promoted. It must have been during like freaking all that crap, doodle diddle beforehand, because I was in active for a couple of months. I think I was in there for like 2 months, and then they said, "Oh no, man." Don't
Ah,
do
Medina, you're running the wrong cup or something.
that." Oh,
No,
Medina.
I just ran it on the op.
Medina.
Okay, you're what are you actually running?
All the stuff that you're seeing right now.
No, check that. What actual are you running Cup Terrain's core or are you running core and maps or complete?
Core and maps.
Run complete.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I've actually this loadout that I'm using right now. Not to overjudge you, but LT checked it out and it's good for ops. And I participated in 3 of them with no errors. It's only when I go on training for some odd reason when shit hits the bricks. Don't ask me why, but
Do you have
What
a
the
big red box?
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
There's nothing I can do about that. You need to correct your cup or not participate in the range.
The cup mod you're missing is CWA. It actually says CWA unless you switch to complete.
Do you have
Oh, God, I
complete?
didn't
Do
even
you?
get it.
Oh shit!
Do you hey,
I do have CWA.
Do you have Cup Terrains complete downloaded?
Oh no, like I said, this is just what I've been using for ops, and it's checked out 100%. It's just when I do trainings when something goes haywire. It's saved as 15th ops. I don't touch it.
They
Every
Look a little scruffy there.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Don't lie to me like that.
Just zooming in on her face, man. You got a bunch of scruff.
because I know we have like 3 chances to do ops with fucked up mods before we get kicked out, but I've never had one error.
okay.
So if I do CWA, you think I'll be fine then?
Try it.
Yeah, you should be fine.
I do have it.
So I understand I am a private in this, but when I was looking at all the mods that you guys have, I saw that you could substitute the complete pack with core, terrain, and CWA.
All right. Yeah. Give that a go. If it works, then it works, and we'll be
Alright,
fine.
I'll put that up there.
But you have to have the other two as well.
I just want to fuck with this too much because between rifle and ops, I'd rather do ops. Alright, let's ready to go.
Well, I've been specifically requested to do this range so that
Yeah, I know.
specifically you can get qualified.
Doesn't work this time, I'm not gonna waste your time.
No, it is what it is. Hopefully it works though.
Yeah, coming on now.
All right. Deal. Sorry for the delay, everybody.
You're good.
No, it's fine.
If you haven't already, I see a couple people with radios still on their backs. If you haven't, go up to the weapon rack, cycle your scroll wheel, and select the shooter loadout. I'm actually gonna, Medina, while you get started there, I'm gonna start rolling through my script. Just listen
be quiet.
along and, absorb all the terrible, massive verbiage I have to throw at everybody. And then when you come in, hopefully we'll be going out to the range.
Getting the popcorn.
All right, let me, before I do anything else.
Your channel was edited.
Lock the channel. Okay, shooters, please check your inventory. You must have the following items only. In your inventory, you should have 3 magazines, 1 pair of earplugs, and 1 TA-31 RCO ACOG optic. Do not have these items, step forward to the weapon rack, cycle the scroll wheel, and select the shooter loadout. Mr. Eagle, that's not a rack, that's a box. So if you're having any trouble, that may be the source of your confusion. Can you get out of that? There you go. Eagle, where'd you... Eagle, select the shooter loadout from the weapon rack.
Just scroll wheel on it. There you go.
Thank you.
There it is.
Okay.
Get scope.
It's in your inventory.
You already took care of it. Okay. Now, if you wouldn't mind, just double tap control so you can lower your weapon. Thank you. Alright, to explain the magazine script, this range runs a script in which each of your magazines holds only 5 rounds. Every time you fire all 5 rounds, you will reload. Reloading is unlimited. Do not worry about having only 3 magazines in your inventory as they will automatically replenish. Be alert. Ensure you fire all 5 rounds. If you fire a partial magazine of less than 5 rounds and reload, your 5-round reload script will fail. Because, for example, you fired only 3 rounds and reloaded the weapon, you will end up with an unlimited quantity of 2-round magazines instead of 5-round magazines. This will make your range day an uncomfortable experience. You can avoid this failure by counting your rounds to ensure you fire all 5 rounds. When in doubt, you may also check your inventory. If inventory shows 3 full magazines, meaning 1 in your weapon and 2 in your inventory, you are good to go. If it shows less than 3, type a C in the side chat right away. I'll have you return to the weapon rack and reload the shooter loadout. Each member may only qualify once per day. Any rounds fired after the initial attempt do not count. You may attempt the range 3 times during any given qualification month. Doesn't apply to us, blah, blah, blah. Highest qualification score will be replaced by a better score. The lower score will not be used. To qualify this range, you must shoot a score of 39 or above, which qualifies you as marksman. 49 or above qualifies sharpshooter. 57 or above qualifies expert. For those aiming for designated marksman course eligibility, you must shoot a score of 63 or above. For those aiming to retain an earned DMR qualification, you must also shoot 63 or above. The range rules. Always maintain a serious and respectful attitude on the rifle range. Whether the range is hot or cold, you will behave appropriately. The weapon you will use on the range is the M4 Select Fire Rifle. Weapons are to be set on single fire mode only. If you fire in burst mode, I will warn you once. Caught firing in burst mode again, you will be disqualified. The standard optic you will use on the range is the TA31RCO ACOG. Hey, it worked. Very good. Glad to have you. This optic, the TA31RCO, will be used when firing at the 500 meter targets only and on the unknown distance range, and only when instructed. All other targets will be engaged with iron sights. Practice time will be given to you all. You will have 4 minutes of practice time. Utilize this to the fullest. Become acquainted with both your scope and your iron sights. This room is Classroom 1. If you disconnect from TeamSpeak at any time, the password to return is HOTBRASS, 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 all one word. However, if you disconnect from the game for any reason during the qualification period of this range, you will be disqualified. This is because your score and all shots and hits will revert to 0. Range staff are unable to keep track of scoring for you and every other student as rounds go down range. Now, if you guys all have your loadouts and everything's copacetic, you guys can follow me out to the range. Excuse me, I just burped at all of you. Kind of rude.
It's wonderful. It smells like chicken.
As you come out, please go to the left of the range tower. Take up positions at lanes 10, 9, 8, and so on, going down to the left. Use caution when mounting your platforms. If you fall off of a ramp or a platform and manage to injure yourself because you are a klutz, I cannot fix you. You're going to have to live with it. It will make your range day a little bit less fun than you intended. Okay. Shooters, ears. When the range is...
Sorry.
That's the second time that has ever happened, and thank you. That is really... That's funny. The first time it happened, it caught me completely off guard, and you just about did the same thing to me again. That's... Okay. Brownie point for you. Sorry, I'm remembering that. The second person to manage that one. All right. When the range is hot, as announced by your range instructor, you will be cleared to fire. If you fire before clearance is given, you will be disqualified right away. I will tell you now, following instructions for each round, you will hear the preparatory command shooters and the executive fire, at which point the range will be hot. When you are instructed to cease fire and the range goes cold, you will cease fire immediately. If you fire your weapon after ceasefire is called, you will be disqualified. Your range instructor is unable to count the number of rounds you fire from your weapon. It is each and every shooter's responsibility to count the number of rounds he or she fires. As explained before, you have only 5 rounds in each magazine. If you simply empty the magazine, you will know you have fired all 5 rounds. Do not get stressed. Be calm when counting the rounds. Do not fire rapidly and lose count. The dirt mound in front of or under you is your firing position. The stone slab in front of you is your firing line. You will not cross over that line. Please check your position as you go. No part of your body is permitted to cross that line. I will warn you to adjust if you are over the line. If you fail to adjust appropriately or cross over the line again, you will be disqualified. Bear in mind, this is a qualification, not a competition. You are not here to compete against other shooters. You are here to qualify yourself for promotion eligibility this year, provided any billet you hold or attain permits your promotion. Please refrain from using the scoreboard while shooters are on the platforms, as doing so may cause a glitch and cause hits not to register, harming scores of shooters. If you use the scoreboard while the range is hot, we'll disqualify you. Once you are done firing your rounds during a course of fire, please step back from the firing line and lower your weapon. Please do not get off the platform. Simply step back from the firing line and lower your weapon to signal to me that you have completed your course of fire. If anyone has a question or comment at any time, please type a Q or C in the side chat. Don't feel shy or bad for asking me questions related to the range. I'm a range instructor. I'm here to answer those questions. If you did not understand a set of instructions or I was unclear, please alert me the same way so that I can clarify those instructions. We don't have a range coach with us, but I'll read from the range coach's tips. Some of these are kind of helpful. Please pick your targets carefully. Please do not engage the same target constantly due to target time. For example, firing 10 rounds in succession at one target may cause only 6 or 7 of those rounds to register as hits. To avoid this issue, please traverse your aim through your targets in any pattern of your choice. Do not shoot targets in other lanes. You'll create the illusion to that shooter that he or she has hit a target, and may cause him or her to improperly count rounds or have a lower score. While holding your right mouse button will cause you to squint and zoom into your scope. As many of you know, this by default will also cause you to hold your breath. If you hold a squint for too long, you will rapidly tire, gasp for breath, and experience heavy scope sway, potentially causing you to miss your target. To avoid this, take your time. Keep your squinting and breath holding time down to a max recommended 4 to 6 seconds. Again, take your time. Patience is the major key to a good range shoot. Timing of other shooters or the countdown of a timed course of fire should have no effect on your bearing. Take your time during all courses of fire, and use all the time you need during non-timed courses of fire. There is no restriction to resting your weapon. You may do this during any course of fire that includes firing from the prone position. If you're unaware of that option, you can do it with the C key while prone. You'll observe a change in your prone stance and increased stabilization of your weapon. As a note, the 500-yard targets are not in fact at 500 meters. They are placed at 487 meters, which will impact high of the 500 mark on your optic. Do note, there is no wind on the server. Wind should never be a problem at all, unfortunately. Last tip, on rare and blessed occasions, you may encounter the ricochet effect. You may fire one round and have it bounce off of one target and strike a second target. This is a freak of Arma. The double impact will be recorded in your score as 2 hits. However, we cannot report your final score as being any higher than the maximum score of 65. Any score increased above 65 by fortuitous events will be reduced to 65. Pop 2, pop 3, pop 5. Shooters, you will have 4 minutes of practice time. Get used to the 3 known distance target groups. Become acquainted with the iron sights and the TA-31 optic. Be aware that the TA-31 optic will only be used in the prone position at the 500-meter targets. All other targets will be engaged in the prone, kneeling, and standing positions with iron sights in various configurations. Please be aware of that as you go through your practice time. Shooters, step up to your firing lines and assume the position of your choice. Shooters, your 4 minutes of practice time will begin now. Shooters, the range is hot. You may fire when ready. you're shooting a little bit above the 500 line. Coming in a little bit above the 500 targets.
Should I go go?
No, I'm letting you know that you're at the 500s. You were coming in just a tiny bit low. Shooters, please expend the remaining rounds in your current magazine. Once they are expended, please lower your weapon, step back from your firing line, and then reload your weapon on your own time. Cease fire. The range is cold. Prop 5, prop 3, prop 2, prop 2. Shooters, please recheck your inventory, ensure that you have the appropriate number of magazines, and nothing appears to be short rounds. If you appear to be short your complement of 5 rounds in your magazines, suspect that may be the case, or you are short magazines, please alert me immediately.
I think I'm good. Check.
Who has an issue?
Hold on, I'm checking to see if it's... Yeah, I'm good. Never mind. Alright, we're good.
Alright. Shooters, the qualification period is about to begin. Please pay attention to the instructions given by your range instructor. Again, if you have a question or comment, type a Q or C in the side chat. Your range instructor will not respond to any questions or generally speak while the range is hot, as the sudden global voice will disrupt other shooters. Please count the number of rounds you fire. Maintain your weapon temperature to avoid a jam. Shooters, we will begin the qualification period. This qualification will consist of 8 courses of fire. Courses 1 to 5 will take place on the known distance course. Courses 6 to 8 will take place on the unknown distance course. First course of fire. This course is the 200-yard slow fire phase. You will engage targets at a distance of 200 yards. You will fire 5 rounds standing, reload 5 rounds kneeling. A total of 10 rounds are to be fired. Again, you will fire 5 rounds standing, reload 5 rounds kneeling. A total of 10 rounds are to be fired. This is a slow fire phase. There is no time limit on this phase. Post a Q or C for questions now, or we will begin. Shooters, step up to your firing lines and assume the standing position. Shooters, on the command. With no timer, 5 rounds standing, reload, 5 rounds kneeling. Total 10 rounds. Ready on the left. The line is ready. Shooters, fire. Are you still shooting things, Mr. Eagle, or are you done?
I'm done.
Shoot back a bit. Thank you. Lowering your weapon and stepping back from your firing line signifies to me that you've completed your course of fire. Please also be careful not to sweep along the line of shooters with your muzzle during the qualification period. Cease fire, cease fire. The range is cold. Second course of fire. This course is the 200-yard rapid fire phase. You will engage targets at a distance of 200 yards. You will fire 5 rounds kneeling. Reload 5 rounds kneeling. All 10 rounds will be fired in the kneeling position. Again, you will fire 5 rounds kneeling. Reload 5 rounds kneeling. All 10 rounds will be fired in the kneeling position. This is a rapid fire phase. There is a time limit of 50 seconds, 50 seconds on this phase. At the first shot fired once the range is hot, the timer will begin. I will advise you all at 30 seconds, 15, 5, a countdown to 0. Fire will be called at 0. If you fire after ceasefire is called, you will be disqualified. Post a Q or C for questions now, or we will begin. Shooters, step up to your firing lines and assume the kneeling position. Shooters, with a 50-second timer, on the command, 5 rounds kneeling, reload, 5 rounds kneeling, total 10 rounds. Ready on the left. The line is ready. Shooters, fire. Thirty seconds. Ceasefire, ceasefire. The range is cold. Third course of fire. This course is the 300-yard slow fire phase. You will engage targets at a distance of 300 yards. You will fire 5 rounds kneeling. Reload 5 rounds kneeling. All 10 rounds will be fired in the kneeling position. Again, you will fire 5 rounds kneeling. Reload 5 rounds kneeling. All 10 rounds will be fired in the kneeling position. This is a slow fire phase. There is no time limit on this phase. Post a Q or C for questions now, or we will begin. Shooters, step up to your firing lines and assume the kneeling position. Mr. Eagle, you can actually step up onto your firing position there. There you go. Shooters, with no timer, on the command, 5 rounds kneeling. Reload, 5 rounds kneeling. Total 10 rounds. Ready on the left. The line is ready. Shooters, fire. Ceasefire, ceasefire. The range is cold. Fourth course of fire. This course is the 300-yard rapid fire phase. You will engage targets at a distance of 300 yards. You will fire 5 rounds prone. Reload 5 rounds prone. All 10 rounds will be fired in the prone position. Again, you will fire 5. Reload 5 rounds prone. All 10 rounds will be fired in the prone position. Shooters, you may rest your weapons for this round. This is a rapid fire phase. There is a time limit of 50 seconds, 50 seconds on this phase. Post a Q or C for questions now, or we will begin. Shooters, step up to your firing lines and assume the prone position. Start. Shooters, with a 50-second timer. On the command, 5 rounds prone. Reload, 5 rounds prone. Total 10 rounds. Ready on the left. Line is ready. Shooters, fire. Seconds. $15. Ceasefire, ceasefire. The range is cold. Mr. Faulkner, you're a lucky man.
Why is that?
Get a double impact.
Did I?
Yeah.
I missed one. I'm sad.
Drop 3, pop 5. Fifth course of fire. This course is the 500-yard slow fire phase. You will engage targets at a distance of 500 yards using the TA-31 RCO ACOG optic. You will fire 5 rounds prone. Reload 5 rounds prone. All 10 rounds will be fired in the prone position. Again, you will fire 5 rounds prone. Reload 5 rounds prone. All 10 rounds will be fired in the prone position. Shooters, you may rest your weapons for this round. Shooters, if you have not jumped the gun, please attach your ACOG optics to your rifles. This is a slow fire phase. There is no time limit for this phase. Post a Q or C for questions now, or we will begin.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on.
Is that a question or are you constipated?
Question. We're firing for prone, right?
Yes, this will be prone.
Roger. Kind of had a brain fart for a second. My bad.
Not sure there was any far. That seemed like a lot of pinching.
Really was.
All right.
Corporal.
Relax. Shooters, step up to your firing lines and assume the prone position.
10 shots, correct? Shots.
You don't listen.
Yep. Shooters, with no timer, on the command, 5 rounds prone. Reload, 5 rounds prone. Total 10 rounds. Ready on the left. The line is ready. Shooters, fire. Ceasefire, ceasefire. The range is cold. This concludes the known distance portion of the range. Shooters, please recheck your ammo count in your magazines and your magazine count. Ensure that you have no bugs there. If you do, please alert me with a Q or a C immediately. Otherwise, if you have no issues, please use caution as you come down, dismount your platforms via the ramps, go to the lane markers directly to your right as you come down, and select the option to the unknown distance range. Once there, again, use caution. Please mount your pedestals and stand by. Mr. Faulkner,
Yeah, are we using our RCOs for this or irons?
it will be with the TA-31s.
Okay, alright.
Okay, shooters, this is the unknown distance course. Please listen carefully. This round is scripted. Once it begins, it cannot be paused or stopped for any reason. Please pay attention during this course as it will take less than 2 minutes to complete. The unknown distance course comprises the 6th, 7th, and 8th courses of fire. In each course of fire, a random selection of 5 targets will appear, at a random distance between 100 and 400 yards. You will engage those targets by firing 5 rounds kneeling within the 25-second timer. Each set of 5 targets will remain down once struck. Once you have fired all 5 rounds, reload and wait for the next course of fire to begin. Again, in each phase, a random selection of 5 targets will appear. You will engage those targets by firing 5 rounds kneeling within the 25-second timer. Once you have fired all 5 rounds, reload and wait for the next course of fire to begin. Remember, once this course begins, it cannot be stopped or paused. Once all 3 courses of fire are completed, ceasefire will be called, and shooters will be instructed to convene at the instructor's tower. Post a Q or C for questions now, or we will begin. Mr. Lee. Yes. Kneeling was the question. Yes, kneeling. But you did catch that. Okie dokie. Shooters, step up to your firing lines and assume the kneeling position. See, I tell you anyway. Sandy. Shooters, on the command. 3 courses of fire. 25 seconds per course of fire. 5 rounds kneeling per course of fire. Ready on the left? The line is ready. Shooters, the range is hot. You may fire when your targets appear. Cease fire. Cease fire. The range is cold. Shooters, please make safe in condition 4 all weapons. Once all weapons are set condition 4 with the magazines removed, please dismount your platforms. You may check your scores on the scoreboard at your range marker, and when you're satisfied and you're all set, you can come over to the unknown distance tower.
Holy shit. Good shit, dude. I beat you, bitch. I beat you, bitch.
Yeah, man. Screw you.
We're going to
fucking
DMR
hacker.
school. We're going to DMR school.
You hacker. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's my scripts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. I want a refund. Falker is hacking. Cat suit.
Is he coming over here?
I don't know. Eagle?
Probably.
He's disappointed, man.
Hi.
He's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He's like,
a little
oh shit, I
disappointed.
fucked up, man. How do
Well, I
know,
just had to take a leak over there.
Parker?
Go between the platforms. All right, so just to read it out for everybody. Top down, Mr. Faulkner with our Freak of the Week award, 66 of 65. Expert, DMR course eligible. Mr. Lee, 65-65. Expert, DMR course eligible. Mr. Basara, 64-65. Expert, DMR course eligible. Mr. Eagle, 47. Marksman. Mr. Medina, 58. Expert.
Great, you guys
I have
got
a
about
s-
6. I got my 60 mil.
I have a I have a yeah, okay, you qualify with that. That'll be interesting. I have a screenshot of all of your scores. I will post up the range completion report sometime within the next 10 or 15 minutes, barring any significant interruptions. In any case, it'll be done before the morning. For those of you who have not completed ITB yet, specifically Mr. Lee and Mr. Eagle, your qualification may rattle around the heads of S1 a little bit. If anybody tells you that you need a range and you're ineligible, refer them to the range report. It will be up in the range reports board for them to find. Generally, Towers is pretty good at going back and making sure you guys are processed once your information is in the master spreadsheet, but I can't guarantee it because it's not my area. It's S1's. So I will make note of that fact, though. With that, thank you very much for your range discipline, guys. You guys have been a patient and attentive audience. I thank you and wish you a good night. You are clear to disconnect.
Thank you.
Bye.
Pickle.
Your
Wave made it
channel
even
was
better.
edited.
So now that it's all over, I do have a question.
Okay, cool.